Good evening, peoples. Back at you with Roundhill for Ethereum and their Bitcoin ETF. These are paid monthly, right? Roundhill has famous for its weeklies, but these are monthlies. Not only that, but I wanted to do a YBIT comparison. I think many of you know that YBTC greatly outperforms YBIT. The problem with YBIT, it sits on top of uh, ProShares BITO. I own some BITO, and that as it pays out large like these other ones, it drops, and it's just not a good method to ride on top of BITO, in my opinion, and it's not that actively managed. That's the problem with YBIT. I was a big proponent when it first came out, and then just firsthand saw that it didn't perform. So I stuck with my BITO and YBTC. Okay, so let's get into this. So here's the current December payment, right? Declared today on 12/27. Ex-dividend is 12/30. So it's too late to get it now because I'm doing this after the market's closed. With the holiday, just a lot of things going on. You get paid on 12/31, okay, and the distribution amount was $1.63. So that's a 36.92, a little bit down over the previous one. So let's look at its inception time here. We're looking since it launched on January 20. When did it launch? January 18, right? Um, YBIT launched on 4/22. But actually, these dates are like a day ahead. When I looked up YBIT, the first close was on 4/23, but not a big deal with that. Um, so what you have is you have a gain throughout its history of $4.51, and it's paid $22.14. Now, in some fairness to YBIT, it will have another distribution, but you can't always time this coming up next week. So it's going to get a little bit more money, but it's so lopsided when you compare these. I'm going to point out that they're not perfect apples to apples, but I'll attempt to do an apple to apples in explaining it to you so you can just see how far apart these two funds are. But if you're looking for what the yield is, obviously it's 36.92 and you got $1.63. Okay. So now let's look at the comparison. So YBTC since 118 launched at 48.54. So if you had $1,000 investment, the current price is 53.05. Now it closed differently today on 12/27, but you always use the prior data declaration, right? That's so all these, and then I did the same thing here. I came in and put the current price of YBIT. All right. So dividends 22.15. What's the dividend return? Well, it's 45.63. Okay. This has a lesser amount of time, so it's down at 33.77. But let's give, and you see the amount of payments is lower, also has less payment. So let's go annualize that, right? Let's make that equal across the year, and you'll see a slight payout higher in YBIT, 49.31% distribution, yet a 48.28. This is over 345 days, so it only goes up a little bit. This goes up substantially because it's only over 250 days, okay? But look at your gain loss annualized. Okay, you had $9.83. Call it 10% gain. You went from 48.54 to a current price of 53.05. So that gain was 929, but if you annualize that with 20 more days to make a year, then you would see a so when you that's is how I get total return, right? What is total return? It's what's your yield or your dividend on an annualized basis, and then what is your gain or loss in the NAV? I don't say NAV erosion, I just say gain or loss in your NAV. It's real. Nobody can argue that. It's not a cuss word. Okay. So you see one is slightly, YBIT is outpaying it percentage wise. Okay. But it's over a shorter period of time too. Um, but when you take total return in, it's 58% positive versus -7. So something I did is I said, okay, I'm going to give YBIT the benefit of the doubt, and these are the previous payments, right? The last, this is August, anyway, if this is December, November, October, September, August, um, July and June, right? These are all the payments. So I said, okay, I'm going to give it a $2 payment, right? $8.90 on the next one. And then you even when you do that, this goes up, obviously. This barely is in the positive territory, right? It's like 6% positive. That's giving them the other thing that you could do to make this an almost perfect. They're never going to be perfect. Is say, okay, well, what was YBTC on their launch date, which is actually 423. When you look up this price, there was no close on 422. So they announced it on 422 and it traded on 423. It closed at 2045. Well, this one closed, or sorry, then if this had been the inception, it would be 55. So you would have lost about 8% instead of gain 9%. So no matter how you look at it, your total return, this may have had like minus 10%. Okay. So 48, 28 minus 10, you'd have had a 38. This at best is like 7. I was giving it another $2 payment, right? So it flips from -7. See if I go in here and I just use 9 instead of 8. Okay, I get a 6.79. But I don't know what their distribute. It's not going to be more than $2 if this is paying $1.63. Um, so just that was generous on it. When you look at the previous payments at $1.2687.79, right? It's never paid that. So I was being very generous on that. So I'm gonna leave this at what I had it, and I'll update. So that's my summary, guys, that YYBTC is significantly outperforming YBIT. Okay, the other one is Ethereum announced for Roundhill. So they paid a whopping nice $2.57, almost 258, right? So here's our summary: 9/9 inception, current price is 53.50 again on 12/26, 48 inception. So you have total dividends paid $10 and whoops, why is that? Oh, I see what it did. It did this twice down here. Ignore that one. This is my total, and that's correct. $10.38, rounded to 1039 here. All right, so what is your dividend return? 2165. Again, it's over 110 days. Annualized, 71.82. Look at this gain loss, 38. Now, granted, BTC and all of the other stuff in Ethereum, they're at generally near their all-time highs. So again, this thing can trade way down. Don't run out and buy these things at the tops. I mean, I don't know why BTC hit 108. What's it today? 95, right? So it's not significant in that it's down from the 108. It may go back to 108, but right now it looks like it's breaking down. So we shall see. I'm not attempting to give you a forecast, people. So that's what I got for you. That's Ethereum, and that is from Roundhill, and that is BTC income monthly payer from Roundhill, and then we compared that to yield maxes. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. Have a happy new year. A lot of college football, a lot of pro football going on. All right, peoples, enjoy whatever your interests are. Again, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great one. Bye now.